Yo, what's up guys? I'm Nick, and today we've got a time-lapse I've recorded of my painting process on a miniature. I've wanted to 3D print it and paint it for quite a while, and this time I kinda challenged myself with using only standard brushes. The model is going to be of the Zinogre, which is a creature from the series Monster Hunter, and I'm going to be attempting to paint the standard color palette for it. I'm using the brand, the Army Painter War Paints, and normally I use them with an airbrush, but I felt like painting by hand from start to finish on this one. I started off the hard way with painting the spines and fur before the skin. That yellow and cream color was easy to overlap and mess up with, and you'll kind of see a bit of that further into the video. It caused me to repaint everything a few times before learning my lesson overall. When I did start on the fur, I made the right choice going from dark to light by working with a base dark cream, almost kind of like a weathered bone, and then brightening the fur with a dry brushing of a lighter cream, and then finally a stark white. Once I felt solid on the fur's color, I went through and began laying down a base teal color for the skin to start leaning towards its main attraction. This is where you'll see I've stopped painting the spines yellow due to the paint overlap I've mentioned earlier. After getting into the crevices and small spots, I then started applying a mid-layer paint to darken the teal a bit more towards the color I was looking for. Eventually, I dressed the teal with a lighter blue tint for a more accurate color. I felt the vibrancy was starting to overtake a little bit, so I went through the spines to touch up and cover any teal lapping onto the yellow, and then dusted the sharp edges with an oxidized gold shading. At this point, I moved from my office area to my home. It was getting late and I was chatting with my friends to keep myself awake and focused. I mixed some paints to color match the now teal blue skin tone I've laid down. That way I can touch up the legs where Zinogre's plates and scales begin to cover the skin. I had to adjust the figure frequently during this time, and unfortunately I managed to chip the left ear, so I took time to glue that back on. I ended up taking a small break, and when I finally came back I had realized the yellow color I was looking for ended up darker than I imagined. So I went over those areas once more with a brighter yellow tone this time around. I thought I liked where I had the skin coloring, so I began painting the scale plate details across the body, and then it hit me that the skin wasn't where I wanted it. I really was looking for more of a metallic finish. I applied this glitter green color I had, hoping that I could keep it thin enough for the teal color to show through still, but I was wrong. I ended up taking the glitter green and mixed it with the teal skin concoction. Before I knew it, we were back in business with color correction. I then reapplied all the yellow that I'd paint over. This is where I realized I made the mistake of detailing before having base colors down, so I went back and touched those spots up one final time. I came back to the figure the next morning. I was much too tired to finish it that night. I noticed that there were some spots on the legs that I had missed, so I went through and patched up some of those areas. I finally got the tinged gold shade down once more, and started to see the figure coming together with the metallic accents in the light. I finished painting the figure by cleaning up seams and edges where paints were messy, making sure the fur was separated from the skin and scales properly. I finally finished off the process with my favorite part, and that would be the stain bath. I drizzled the stain over the figure thoroughly and let it drip dry for a few minutes, then took a brush and cleaned up the excess stain off of the figure. The stain gave it a more defined and realistic feeling, getting in between scales and grooves to highlight edging and creases, while adding a rugged and dirty theme. I ended up chipping with the ear once more during the staining process, so you can slightly see the difference on that ear when the light hits it well, but overall, I'm super happy with how this paint came out. I really want to thank you guys for stopping by, breaking down my process with me, and just spending time here. If you have any questions or advice or topics on your mind, please feel free to visit the comments where we can interact and talk about it all. If you're interested in printing off your own 3D model of this figure, I dropped the link in the description. So thank you to Colin Clown, as I want to say it. Other than that though, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.